And we're back with game two, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Random Minion Caster, and alongside me still is Adruit Luna for this game two between EXNL and Glacial Inferno. Game one going the way of Glacial Inferno here, who's creeping ever so closer to picking up their first series win here for themselves. And we have the picks and bans here for both teams. EXNL on the blue side of this game, they've banned out the Echo, Ezreal, Lulu, Teemo, and Jhin. So first three bans all targeted at things that Glacial Inferno played in game one here. Glacial Inferno banning out the Syndra, Graves, Xayah, MF, and Yuumi. So they didn't like bears on that. Xayah was the only bright spot there for EXNL in game one. And in terms of picks here, interesting choices. EXNL going with Galio, Shen, Jarvan, Vayne, and Taric. I'm liking that Taric there. And for Glacial Inferno, they're going with Yasuo, Sejuani, Swain, Nautilus, and Aphelios. Luna, where do we even start with this?
Okay, so I really question X-Nulls, their draft. Like their bans, I feel like are really solid. I'm still trying to figure out what's up with emo ban. I feel like that one's kind of weird, unless someone on Glacial is like a Teemo one trick or something like that. But an issue that X-Null had was they didn't have the damage output, right? So they turned around and giraffe a 4 tank team. Uh, I don't know if that's called cheap. I mean, now granted, AP Galio can put out a lot of damage. Vayne with her passive puts out a lot of damage, and Shen, when you build him Bruiser, he, like Volibear, can still put out a good amount of damage as well. So I don't know, maybe they'll make me eat my words. We'll have to see. Now Glacial's draft, I really like their draft because they have a lot of different ways to be able to get a good solid stun off, on top of being able to have multiple ways to make usage out of Yasuo's ult. Three of their champions are melee, with the Nautilus, the Yasuo, and Sedge. So that's going to be very easy passive procs for herself. Because there are so many different ways to get hard CC, that opens up Swain's passive. Like their draft is like so intertwined, it's almost beautiful in a way. And then just the mass amount of damage that you get from an Aphelios, I mean, like it's a strong draft. It's terrifying.
Yeah, for sure. And we have seen earlier today, I believe it was, trying to recall who ran the 4-1. I think it was the side of seven. No, DOV Nightfall is the one who ran it with 4 tanks and 1 carry, a Tristana in their game one versus 7 men there. So EXNL perhaps looking to try and repeat that, but Vayne, a much shorter range champion. And for Glacial Inferno, like you said, they've got a really solid composition, and that's probably Windstorm and Yasuo. Yasuo, one of Windstorm's most played champions by a long shot here. So very risky to give that over. And given that's how the draft went, we can tell you favor Glacial Inferno a lot. How do you think this is going to translate into game, considering that Glacial Inferno had a weaker draft game one and still won it? Do you think that might happen here in game two?
I think it's going to be easier for Glacial to win this game, because I think that the main issue from the previous game was Glacial had better rotations. The best example being when they were able to get that free Baron, because EXNL had people that were down towards the bot side of the map when Dragon wasn't even coming up yet, and Baron was already spawned. So it was just like, in a way, there's almost no reason for people to be there, unless it was just to stop the bot lane from pushing. But even at that point in the game, it's like you can afford to give up a tower if it means you're able to secure Baron and just trade those leads.
For sure. So definitely the rotations here were an issue for EXNL in game 1, as you said. And if it does come down to that, they've got an even smaller margin for error this game, and we'll have to see if they can make use, and perhaps they might be able to rotate better. The other thing we've seen before is the use of Taric, most notably, I forget the team with Nerf Irrelevant on it. Oh, I'm drawing a blank, but that's the team, was it Pendulum? Who basically, they've used it to great effect, so I'm looking forward to see if Opti can do anything, but it does seem like we are going to get a catch here as Pillar is Life somehow wrapping around 3 members of Glacial Inferno there. Will run smack into them, and that's going to be yet another first blood easy going over the way of Glacial Inferno, and Windstorm going to pick this one up. He's going to be able to get a nice bit of gold, went back, bought boots, so we'll be able to run around faster in lane now.
Yeah, I'm at a loss for words. I'm not even gonna lie.
and yeah, that's a rough person to give first blood over to as well. It's Windstorm, and we have seen this Galio Yasuo matchup in the past. I believe it was just last week, and it went really poorly for the Galio, and that wasn't an even lane, and now it will be in a lane where Windstorm already has the advantage. And one thing also, interestingly enough, that's Seamus in the top lane with that Swain going Grasp of the Undying. So top lane Swain, I think we've seen today alone Swain in the mid lane, Swain in the support, and now we're seeing him in the top lane. What on earth is going on here?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure you're pretty fond of it, seeing as how Swain is one of your bread and butter picks. So
it is, and I do play him everywhere, but he's not that great in the top lane because he is relatively squishy and can't output enough damage. Often does run out of mana. But so far, it's working really well for him. He's abusing Chef Boy's Shen right now. And Chef Boy just not able to get anywhere near the minion. Still is up CS though, as Seamus seems to be struggling to last hit some of these minions.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's going to be a little bit of an edge for Seamus, since Swain is ranged. And since he did go Grasp, that will help mitigate some of the issue of him being so squishy early, depending on how often he's able to proc, which, I mean, so far he's doing really well.
For sure. Now a gank into the mid lane from Jesus. We did see Pillar's Life drop by earlier. The stun is good, the taunt is good, but can they get the kill? It doesn't look like it. Instead, top lane, Chef Boy going aggressively. Will he go down? Just one more auto attack. Seamus gets it. He dies as well, but he managed to find his kill first. We'll get a bit more experience lead against Chef Boy, and Chef Boy does have the teleport. Seamus does not, so Chef Boy will be able to just teleport himself back into lane. Will not miss much at all.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the one thing that will definitely what am I trying to say? Wow, brain farts are happening all day today.
It's a Monday.
It's definitely going to give them the edge, I think. Especially because it is Shen, and, you know, looking back over their comp, if you think about it, their comp is really interesting as well, because, so you have Shen ult, which can help get in Galio with his ult, which can set up for a Cataclysm, or that can all play off of a Cataclysm. And then if Tarik's nearby, Tarik can ult, given that Cosmic Radiance, and make his whole team invulnerable. So it could just be go for a massive team fight with the stall and just have Vayne pop off. That might be what they're trying to look for here, but while it's a good idea on paper, I think it's going to be excruciatingly difficult to pull off.
For sure. Now Windstorm getting ganked in the mid lane by Pillar's Life, but he's using those dashes to great effect. He's managed to get out bot lane. The Dredge Line comes across, but he's going to get stunned up. And now Phylac Phenom running as he takes a bit of poke on the back end. And top lane, the exhaust from Seamus as well. Looks like he's going to be able to find this kill, no problem. Onto Chef Boy. He misses the Q though, and it gets turned around onto him. Chef Boy finding the kill onto Seamus solo in the top lane. EXNL firing back.
Yeah, definitely an unfortunate misclick on the Q, or just like wherever he had his cursor. That, and with Shen getting that very clutch shield, That definitely turned the tide for Chef Boy there.
For sure, and we just see the flash just going out of Glove in the mid lane. That Galio taunt not working well for him at all. Magic Shield not stopping Windstorm, and when you taunt Windstorm, he's fine with it. He was going to auto you anyways. Now Dredgeline on to Bears here. Will once again be replied with the stun from Opti, but Bears is taking some damage, and we've seen Aphelios in the late game when they get to scale up. The Infernum already right now doing great poke onto Bears. So definitely might be an issue here. Is a solid pick into that vein to try and match some of that hyperscaling.
Yeah, I definitely agree, but I feel like, yeah, that's right. This previous patch, which happened last Wednesday, actually really gutted Aphelios too. His, the damage on his ult got a huge nerf, and now it's only 20% of his bonus attack damage instead of 50%. And he also has less attack damage growth as the game goes. So the fact that he's doing so well right now is just skill.
Yeah, and that range advantage, and we do see EXNL starting up the Drake right now. They found Jesus. They're trying to kill him while they can, and Jesus is only level 4 right now. Looking like he's gonna get shredded here just by the auto attacks from Bears. Those triple silver bolts going down. The Shen ultimate from Chef Boy coming down as well, and that's all 5 members of EXNL now. Falok, does land the dredge line, and Bears is alone. Will be able to flash to safety, but Corpit's just doing so much damage in the back there. Though that flamethrower, the Inferno, just spreading damage repeatedly, and now he's got the range as well. It's just poking down. EXNL still trying to do this dragon, but they have to be careful. The stun comes up. Will it land? Yes, it will. The taunt as well. But Glub is low. Will get taken down. Those chakrams starting to come across. And Windstorm looking for kills as well. Using the last breath onto Chef Boy. He's going to flash away and pick up Pillar's life instead. He gets Opti. He gets Bears. That's a triple kill. Corpit the one to finally take down Chef Boy there. And that is an ace from Glacial Inferno after a really, really bad start to the fight. They get the ace and they get the Mountain Drake as well.
Yeah, that was very impressive by Glacial. They were able to juggle aggro extremely well. And it just goes to show what I meant by a good comp on paper doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a great comp. Because EXNL did essentially what they were wanting to do on paper, but because they were able to do it, they blow everything almost all at once. So if they want to win fights, they have to be able to get both Windstorm and Corpit down within that first initiation. If they can't get the damage taken out, then they just need to back off and wait for the next fight.
For sure, and unfortunately they got neither of them in that last fight there. The only one going down was Jesus, and while that is the jungler, and that means it'll be an easier dragon take, they were just so low after doing that, and Corpit, really, the MVP of that one there, stalling out for so long, bought time for the rest of his team to engage. The dredge line landing yet again on Bears. That's the third one here. And we do see the gank from Jess as well. They've switched over to Opti. The turret comes down. The chakrams are sliding around. And that's going to be Opti brute forced dead there. Bunch of ultimates being expended. Oh, sorry. Just the one, actually. Phallic Phenom, not even 6 yet. So that was just the Glacial Prison coming out. They didn't even need the depth charge there. And they might come back for round 2 against Bears as Jesus loops around. Will not find anything. Instead, it's in the top lane. We see Seamus and Chef Boy fighting the Demonic Ascension and the Exhaust coming down once again. But it does look like Chef Boy might have gotten out of range. He's just at the edge here. And he dodges the Nova Flare and will not take the damage. Now, Pillar is live, managing to secure the Herald here. Will pick up the Eye of the Herald, and Windstorm might be in a bad spot. He's looking to try and find backup, but Jesus will not be able to help him soon enough. And that's a 400 gold bounty going the way of Pillar is life.
Yeah, it was a good call by Pillar to go ahead and try to secure that Rift Herald while they had the option to. I'm not sure if Windstorm just like chased Glub up there or if he was trying to get vision there. But once he saw they were on it, I think it would have been better to just go ahead and concede and just let them have it instead of try to contest for it without Jez being nearby.
For sure, and Pillar is life going right back to that top lane once again. Will land the flag and drag. Cataclysm as well. Sheamus does have the flash available. Will get up, but Chef Boy going to flash immediately after looking for this kill. They get yet another flash from Pillar's life. The spear, the javelin, just barely able to pick Sheamus up on the back end there. That's 2 flashes for 1 and a kill. Worth it here for EXNL, as they're looking to try and even up the gold gap. And they're going to drop the Herald to boot in that top lane, try and get themselves some plates.
Yeah, and Chef Boy does have teleport available right now as well. So, if need be, he could back and just teleport in.
And now we do see the last breath being used. Heroic entrance will knock up Windstorm. He can't continue the damage. Pillar is life is low, and so is Chef Boy. Windstorm looking to pick up the Shen first, who you did mention has the teleport, will now go down. And will they keep going? No, because Glove is just so healthy. The heroic, the Justice Punch does come across, will be able to find Jesus. Now the taunt for once working for now, but Windstorm still able to pick up another kill. And now Glove is low, has to be careful. Will manage to find Windstorm. Sheamus finally back to lane, did not have teleport, had to walk the whole way. Will not be able to find Glove. That's ultimately a 3 for 2 in favor of EXNL. But again, very extended fight and just non-stop, you know, one person after another showing up sort of situation. That teleport from Chef Boy going to be used. He will be back in lane, and we've just got the top laners once again.
And so at the end of that fight, Glove really showing their skill on the Galio, because with that Justice Punch, before Galio goes in, he actually jumps back first, and he was able to dodge a knockup by using that.
Yeah, that was really well played. I mean, there was no last breath to come down, but the knockup alone would have CC'd him sufficiently for Windstorm to potentially get a kill, especially with that Conqueror. And we now see Sheamus seeming to win this trade, fighting Chef Boy in the middle of a whole bunch of minions there. The taunt comes across, and Sheamus is going to take some turret damage as well here. But the pullback and the heals, and he might be looking for a dive. He's going to use that Demonic Ascension really aggressively here, but there's no minions yet. He's having to tank this one. Now he's going to look to complete the dive. Can he land the pull? Yes, he can. Can he get the damage? But there was not enough damage on the Nova Flare. And now he's taking yet another turret shot. It's not going well. It's just 2 fat tanks, and neither of them have enough damage. So after all that action, nothing going to come of it in the top side. Instead, in the jungle, we see Jesus and Pillar is live going at it. But again, no damage there either. They're waiting for Windstorm, for Glove, for Corpit and Bears to try and show up. Top lane, we might finally see a kill here, and it's going to be Chef Boy the one to pick that one up onto Sheamus there. Sheamus sticking around a little too long in that top side, and Chef Boy starting to look like he's starting to win these trades, especially with that first buy, the Adaptive Helm there.
Yeah, the Adaptive Helm saved his life. I mean, it stops most of the damage from Swain's ult. Oh, wow.
Now the knock up here, the depth charge coming out, but enough time has been bought. The Cosmic Radiance from Opti will complete. Glove teleporting down. Will use the movement speed. Glove gets the double taunt. Can he get anything else? No, he can't, because Phenom able to drag himself to safety. Now Windstorm teleporting into the bot lane as well. He manages to find Opti, who was already so low, but he's in the Cataclysm, will get knocked and locked into the walls there. So he's going to go down as well. Glove though, getting shredded. Aphelios nerfs not doing enough. That's just a BF sword and a pickaxe, but Corpit does manage to pick up a second kill on the back of that. So that's a 2 for 1 trade in the bot lane, and just it's not a good lane to gank here. Phallic Phenom and Corpit doing work and just managing to turn the gank around.
Yeah, for real. Especially with how the current meta has been, it's just like, bot lane is not a fun lane to try to gank. It's just like, because, I mean, either way, if you gank, I mean, because of the patch from a few months ago hitting solo experience in fights, like, that's already going to hurt you as it is as a jungler. So it's just like, I don't know, it's just like, what is the right call? Is it to try to get your bot lane fed and just funnel kills into them by ganking them a lot? Or should you try to gank top or mid more and try to spread that pressure out?
For sure, and in the Noxus division especially, we've seen a lot of a lot of games go the way of top lane, where if one top laner can take over a game, they can often just solo carry their team pretty much. But as you mentioned, for the side of EXNL, they've drafted themselves a composition with really one major carry, and that is Bears in that bot lane with that Vayne. So they end up having to throw constant attention, trying to make sure that Bears can find a lead, and so far it's not been working because it's Corporate coming up 4-0-3 right now. Has the Infinity Edge completed along with a Zeal compared to just the Blade of the Rune King for Bears here. And we might see another fight break up around the Herald. Phallic Phenom will be able to dodge out the stun. Depth Charge coming across will knock up Pillar is life, but he's not the one they want. A beautiful three-man taunt, but Corporate doesn't care if you taunt him. He's an auto-attack damage carry. Seamus going to be the one to pick up the kill, though, on to Glub there, and it looks like Glacial Inferno has won this one and got themselves the Herald as their reward.
Yeah, it's free Herald. They're in a good spot to just send it mid if they want.
And as you called it, insta-drop into the mid lane there. They're going to look for this mid lane turret. But the mid lane turret's very healthy for now. There's not enough people to defend it, though, and though Shelly can't take it down right away, with all 5 stacking, they certainly can. Now they're looking for the inner turret as well. Shelly prepping the charge will go take it down to less than a third of its health. And it looks like they're going to potentially stop this one up. They did get Opti extremely low, but not enough damage, and he was too far on the turret for Corporate to finish him off there. And with that, we will see a reset from Glacial Inferno as they go back and spend some of that money from all the turrets and all the kills they just picked up.
Yeah, now, I don't know, I feel like it's an interesting call to try to rush as hard as they did for that inner turret with Dragon coming up, and their side lanes aren't pushed out. So it might have been better to, like, they did eventually split off to go try to deal with side lanes, but I feel like they probably could have done so a little sooner than they did, and they would have a little bit better prio for the next Dragon coming up.
Definitely, and that's on top of Seamus not having that teleport, so he's still in the top lane. Will go back to base now, but by the time he reaches the Dragon, it could very well be gone. And Jez is also sitting on the steps of the fountain, so if a fight breaks out near the Dragon right now, it's gonna be 5v3. Stand United and teleport available for Chef Boy as well. He can join it at any time, and Glacial Inferno just gonna start clearing out the vision. They didn't actually start the Drake up, and Corporate gonna try and repeat what he did at the first Drake here and buy time for his team to rejoin him.
Yeah, very smart by just using the turrets from the shock room.
For sure. Now we see a bit of a Dragon dance here. Both sides hesitating, but Jez is pulls the trigger. There is a no taunt because it gets interrupted there. Cataclysm comes down and everybody's locked in, but that's allies and enemies both. Glub was stuck in, will end up going down now. Windstorm extremely low, gets a 3-man knockup, 2-man last breath, and Corporate with the Aphelios damage. That was disgusting. Picks up a triple kill there. Seamus gonna continue the dive onto Bears. And that's going to be a 1-for-5. That's a trade GI will take any day of the week. They pick themselves up their third Drake as well. It's going to be a Cloud Drake, and that's going to mean that much more win for Last Breath and that many more Last Breaths in this game.
And keep in mind, folks, this is after Aphelios just got nerfed. So, I'm just putting that out there. Just putting that on the table. Still got nerfed, still does a ton of damage. Respect this champion.
For sure, better nerf Aphelios even more because he's still so strong, and I do expect to continue seeing him in competitive play here because they did nerf his ultimate damage a little bit as well as some of the attack speed, but that's not enough to keep him down. And now Corporate has the Infinity Edge and Hurricane as well with that Vamp Scepter, so you have that much more sustainability in these fights as well as being able to pump up the damage. And Windstorm, we shouldn't forget him, was kiting around and dragging people around that fight, has the Infinity Edge and Phantom Dancer as well. That's your 2-item power spike, and Jez is right now just baiting with his body does drag people in, and they will be able to pick Pillar his life potentially up here. But a beautiful Cosmic Radiance will extend his life. And Glub Glub has shown up, and instead it's going to be Jesus going down. Phallic Phenom I was going to say sure to follow, but he actually flashes over the wall. Instead now it's Windstorm getting collapsed on by 5. A good flash to dodge the flag and drag. But where's he going to go from here? Can he get one more win so that he can get the last breath? He does, but does not find anybody on the knockup. Seems like he will be able to get away though, and instead it's going to be Seamus taunted up by Chef Boy here. He's going to get popped immediately. Did not have Demonic Ascension available just yet, and that's going to be 2 kills going the way of EXNL. They are going to have difficulty defending this turret as well. They're kind of low on health.
Yeah, and if you're EXNL, that's how you want to get these fights to go down. Like, especially because, like, their team essentially, it's an all-in team. Like, if someone's not there to go all in, then you probably don't want to fight.
And now the depth charge connects right before he can flag and drag himself to safety. He will get melted, but Windstorm extremely low on health now. They're all going for him. They do manage to find him, but not before he gets bears as well. And now Chef Boy going down. That's all of them dead. Yet another triple kill here for Corpit. He's playing out of his mind. 10-0-6 right now. Has not died a single time, and a lot of that is on Phallic Phenom, just constantly bodyguarding for him in these fights here.
Right, and like again, like so after that the fight earlier in the top jungle, EXNL, like, yeah, they came out on top in the fight, but look at what they had to blow in order to get there. Then they were still pretty weak, and they're like, okay, let's go try to get this turret. Then one of them gets caught out, and then it just all falls apart right then. Instead of trying to go for that mid turret, they should have just took what they got, been happy with it, faced to get healthy, buy items, and then set vision up for Baron.
And speaking of vision for Baron, right now they have absolutely none. And Glacial Inferno is taking advantage of that. They've started up the Baron. They have some vision and in the surrounding entrances, so they know if EXNL sends anybody to respond to them. And it doesn't look like they will. Dragon ticking down. It's already down to 3,000 health. There's no Blade of the Ruined King, but they don't need it. They've got Leandris from Seamus as well as Corpit just outputting damage. And that's going to be a free Baron here for Glacial Inferno once again. They sneak it once again here.
Yeah, but I mean, this time it wasn't because of poor rotations. Or, well, I guess technically it would be because of poor rotations still. Because, like I was saying, had EXNL made the choice to not try to force that mid-tier 1, they could have had a good rotation for